Are you being attacked by stage 4 time suckers? Yes, I stole that from Star Trek. Stage 4 clingers. Okay, if you're not a Trekkie, sorry, you got to look it up. You'll figure it out. But what I wanted to talk about today is something that I keep hearing all the time in my conversations throughout the day in the veterinary industry. Uh, and really, it's these stage 4 time suckers. Okay, and I'm going to go over the usual culprits, but the reality is this. Just like you've seen if you've watched Star Trek or anything else, if your ship isn't equipped with the right type of defensive mechanisms, right? It doesn't really matter what you do. It's just a band-aid. It's all that it is. Okay. So the idea behind here, number one, is let's just identify what we're talking about here. What are stage 4 time suckers? Okay. Number one of the biggest ones is because it's very insidious and it's very tricky to balance, right? Are usually the ability to respond to either patients or potential patients, whether that's on Google My Business, okay, on instant message, on Facebook. There's a lot of communication platforms, text, email, right? And what I find a lot of team members are doing, whether it's a practice manager or it's a receptionist, is they're using their phone. Then they're going into the desktop, and then this pops up over here, bing, bing, bing. There's notifications, and again, they're trying to block out time to actually do that because they're trying to focus on time management. But some stuff just kind of weasels its way into that urgent, important quadrant, right? And then you're like, okay, do I do this now? Do I stop what I'm doing? And then you got to go back and get back into what you were doing. And we all know that once you lose focus, it takes about 10 or 5 minutes just to get back in the flow again of what you were doing. We all know when you work in flow, is how you go. That's how you move. That's how you're efficient and productive. Okay. So how do we stop these stage 4 time suckers? Right. All right. This is what you do. Number one, get the ship correct. Okay, guys, this isn't expensive. Okay, I don't care who you go with, but like VMG 360. Okay, the minimum entry level package is not expensive. We have free trials for this. We're talking about 30 or 40 bucks a month here. Okay, but it pulls in all of the communication. Okay, all the communication stuff that I mentioned all together in one place. Not only can you respond, but you can also add them to a nurture sequence. If they're asking for basic information, it's a simple 1-2 click to email them a whole breakdown of whatever it might be, from a wellness package to an issue to how your pricing works to insurance. And we have all these templates, by the way, in VMG 360 for you already. We're getting into the next time sucker in a second. But again, that software is going to be your first ship defensive mechanism, right? The next thing that needs to be in your defense mechanism, and if you've ever watched Star Trek or any type of fighting show, if they get shot at, the guy doesn't go or girl doesn't go over there and click and turn on the defensive shields. The defensive shields are automatically on, right? Automatically on, right? What that means is it's automation, right? We want to make sure that your defensive mechanisms for your stage 4 time suckers are already on. So the idea is if someone does reach out to you, you should have a chat that can answer questions, okay? The world's moving into chat, GPT, and AI. I'm not going to get into that right now. I have a nice video and training going on how to use that effectively without, screwing up your practice. And it's a little dangerous, so be careful with that. But the idea is making sure that you have either someone that you can automate an initial response, okay, and then get notified, okay, if that person asked a question or whatever, so okay, the urgency of it. You can even tag keywords on this, okay, or you just outsource it by having a team, right? So the idea is if you can actually be in a situation where you can bring someone in per minute to reach out, to follow up, to post visit, to answer very simple questions where they can look off of a script, it's going to save you a ton of time. That is another stage 4 time sucker. Okay. So think about it like this. What I'm talking about is anything that's rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. I'll give you the final stage 4 time sucker, okay? And this is more on the hiring side, right? Now, you might have your recruitment software of where you get people from. Maybe you're in groups or this or that. When it comes to hiring, and this is all the way from the DVM, associate, companion, all the way to specialty, to vet tech, to receptionist, to any level, any assistant, right? This doesn't happen continuously. Usually what happens, unfortunately, with a practice manager or HR department is you get one assistant quits, a vet tech quits, a vet nurse can't, is sick, and all this happens, but you still have 4 or 5 DDMs, right? And you're like, okay, what do we do? Do we just stop these from working, or do we just kind of man up and get it done together as a team, which isn't really sustainable? But usually what has to happen is whoever's wearing that HR hat has to jump in and start looking for a qualification pool. Okay, who do we interview from 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago? Okay, jump into recruitment software, kind of look at that and see if you can find it there, right? Or you got to start interviewing again, right? So all these applications come in, boom, you get barraged, right? Here's what I suggest, okay? Inside of, again, VMG 360, we have something called a hiring engine, right? Applies, it goes right into the applications on a Google form. It goes right into the CRM system. We're still in the same place. Remember, time management, have the proper ship, have the proper software, right? It comes in, again, now you got to qualify them, right? So if you're looking for a CV MP, right? Or if you're looking for any person, maybe you need 3 years of experience, 5 years of experience, something like that. If these are things someone can just check, just to see if their certification's up to date, background checks. That is not rocket science. And honestly, that's something you can outsource, okay? And it takes minutes to do, but at least we move people from this pile to this pile. And then now you can go in and qualify them. And then you can get to the point where it's like, now you got to try to set up all these calls and meetings, right? Now you could bang them up on phone calls if you want to, but we know how your day is, right? You may have blocked out time specifically for interviews, saying, you know what? I'm going to do interviews all in one spot for 3 hours. Yummy, right? On Thursday. That's what I have to do it, or I have to move my schedule around. That's great. You could delegate, and it would take a VA probably about an hour or two to reach out to all the qualifications that you qualified already to set up appointments in that spot for you. If not, you're going to be playing email ping pong. I love ping pong. I really do. I love ping. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't want to do that with my business, okay? I don't want to have a paddle all day with my business. So the idea is you can have someone else schedule those, set them up right into your calendar, okay? I'm telling you, when you add this up, it adds a lot of time. So there are all your stage 4 time suckers. That's the way to fix this. I'm curious, though. I want you to put down, I created a LinkedIn poll. I'm going to put a lot of areas that I think are the biggest time suckers, and I'd like you to put how many hours a week or a month that you think that you spend on those tasks. Okay? Talk to you soon.